Hey guys, and welcome to the Igloo, and today is the patch notes. So we're going to be saying this right off the get-go. If you're on PC, 500 megs. If you are on console, 350 gigs. The big thing that's going to be happening is a bunch of balance fixes, some exploits that got fixed, some server performance stuff, you know, the atypical stuff, especially in this kind of market. So the big thing that we're going to be talking about is the nerf to Demo Expert 5 and explosive weapons themselves. It's going from 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 with from level 1 to level 5 perk card. From level 1 to level 5 perk card after the patch, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So it's only going to go up in increments of 10. So it's still going to be one of the best options when it comes to explosive category, but it's going to be a little bit different. First, the condition of White Knight and Licensed Plumber is going from 1 to 3 star, 30, 60, 90 to 20, 40, 60. So now it's going to cost you a little bit more time and it will be grinding for you. This is because, it was almost reduced to only 10% when you were not in power armor exactly. So in looking at Demo Expert and White Knight, Licensed Plumber perks, we felt like they have so far been overperforming their current roles. Gee, you think? I mean, you can still one-shot everything. Weapons, explosive legendary mod damage is now down. So they did a double nerf on this, okay? So we not only confirmed from the last patch notes that they were going to go from 100 percentile to 20 percentile base weapon damage. But on top of Demo Expert now, I think that it's actually more nerfed than before. So all of our numbers that we've been predicting for a 20% to 40% increase that I was saying prior has been wrong. So that it's actually weaker than most other things, especially if you're going to be going with a 50% critical hit. Especially now that we have that added layer of data that they've also nerfed Demo Expert 5 on top of the actual legendary mod itself. So they also confirmed that the two-shot variant is going from 100 percentile to 25 percentile. And it really sucks. I just picked up a two-shot explosive hunting rifle. And it's just like, no. Oh my god. I gotta review this stuff for before and afterwards. That's gonna be a whole video of how much they've gotten nerfed when I actually log in and we can actually confirm the difference on how drastic the amount of nerf is, especially in this kind of environment. We're going to be going into the dev note as well. As mentioned in the previous Inside the Vault article, both the explosive mod and two-shot weapons could result in dealing with very high amounts of damage. So we're going to just heavy-hand this kind of shit all of the way, especially when it comes to the ability of nerfing. This is probably, like I said, the biggest nerf. I mean, it was already one of the biggest nerfs from going from explosive 100 percentile to 20 percentile, but then they also nerfed Demo Expert 5 on top of it so that it does not reciprocate to the actual other advantage, which is 50% critical hit damage per one target if you're using VATS. So it's going to be extremely crazy, and there's going to be no point. So again, Bloodied Explosive or a Bloodied VATS critical build is still going to be better or the best kind of combination that you can have at the current time of this video. So, right after this, weapons, flamers, cryolators, plasma weapons, and laser weapons can no longer spawn with explosive legendary mods. So those weapons now cannot do it. Because why? Because they did not make their effect so that they are completely worthless at this point. So if you have a flamer explosive, it made a minigun, okay? So that's a legacy weapon now. The cryolator explosive is now a legacy weapon because they just couldn't fix their effects because it would get rid of their effect and it would make a gun effect and it would make a gun sound. It was really funny. The explosive mod causes a weapon to fire bullets that are explosive. Weapons, that's their dev note. The weapons listed above don't fire bullets. So we've temporarily removed the ability from them to spawn with that mod because they can't fix their game. Wait, so we can't even find why. Okay, so somebody at animation at Bethesda just does not know how to incorporate both of these without having the minigun effect. Okay, this is just weird. It's also pretty funny. This is actually a big and good thing. It's a bad thing for me because I'm a trader and I keep like maybe 7,000, sometimes a little bit less when it comes to carry weight on a character themselves. So, these limits, these are certain limits that are going to be for the game. So what I normally do is that I have a second profile, right? And I keep that second profile like off my main profile so that I can actually carry like all the weapons for trading and a bunch of other things. But what they are doing is that they're limiting your on-character carry weight to 1,500 pounds over character's current maximum carry weight. So what this says is that people are going to have to train up their mules, right? So their mules have to have a full set of weapon and weight reduction if they want to be a weapons dealer, so that all of their weapons can weigh as little as possible. So you literally have to train up your alt account just so that you can hold all these weapons now that you were able to do prior. Now, this does not resumptuate to armor abilities because there's no armor weight reduction. I don't think there's any armor legendary mod weight reduction setups when it comes to it. So most people, they're going to have to mod their like armor to have like the weightless ability on top of everything else if they want to be able to have a armor dealer kind of setup where you have to actually know on how to mod. So it's going to become a lot harder to become a trader, especially on either Market 76 or one of the Discords or something like that, because you actually have to train up a character to just carry for carry weight. And it's going to be funny to see when people are going to be like, I can't carry shit anymore. I can't do anything. Now, this is the other thing where people are doing this. This is their dev note. These limits exist primarily to keep servers for performing poorly, which can happen when we have too many items in the game world. That's because you don't make your stuff into bit and byte information and you have it as a cache in your system. Okay, this is the big problem with AWS servers, especially when it comes to it, because they have the indoctrination of their item to be recalled on client side to server side, and it needs to be cached. This is why we have that kind of issue. A little bit of geek talk when it comes to this, but I mean, most of the data should be written from the actual server side instead of client side. This is one of the big problems when it comes to having a lot of inventory stuff. And this is one of the big reasons why they said prior that they really need to actually keep their stash limit extremely low for server stability because they rely too much on the client side. That's just my little TLDR note on top of the dev note. Okay, so the cap stashes. To help address the cap exploits, cap stashes have been turned into containers, which allows them to properly reset and provide players with instance loot. What does that mean? I mean, I didn't know there was a cap exploit, but I mean, people are reporting it. Okay, so plans and recipes. When viewing a plan or recipe in menu as a known, so they're adding the mods that the modding community actually suggested. So the known tag will appear. So they're actually adding mods into the game that have been out for a while. They haven't. I don't think they've added perk layout yet, but I mean that known tag has been so annoying inside Fallout 70 because you didn't know exactly what you were getting. It was completely stupid. Okay, so vendors, recipes, plans in a vendor's inventory are no longer randomized and can be reliably sourced from those vendors, with the exception of minor workshop or camp plans. So if you actually want to get like proper plans instead of dealing with like Market 76 or server hopping like 20, 30, 40 times. You can actually find it from the goddamn vendors. So that you can actually don't have to worry about all this kind of RNG. The appearance of many plans and recipes of vendors and inventories is based on the player level. Now, they will show up at their proper level. So this also ties into the handmade plans where people said if it was anywhere from like level 15 to level 25 or level 15 to 35 or something like that, that you can only have certain plans at certain levels. But now it might be fixed. I don't know exactly, but it says that we would be able to find certain plans, additional structural plans for wall sets, power connectors, doors, generators, and water purifiers have been added to some vendors. So you made it easy Fallout. Instead of actually claiming a workshop, like, you're actually making it easier. I know I'm saying actually a lot, but they are actually making the game easier for the casuals on top of everything else. All right. So, Hunter versus Hunted. The server-wide message will now appear when a player joins Hunted versus Hunted queue. That's great because maybe some other people wanted to do this. This message will only be displayed once per player to avoid spam. Great. So, an additional server-wide message will be displayed for Hunter versus Hunted is ready to begin in order to give a player a final chance to join. I mean, again, if you have a PvP event and nobody knows that you're in a PvP event, who's going to want a PvP on that server? Like, it's kind of a good fix, but it should have been not oversighted that extremely. So, quests and events. Billy the Beast, Ultrasight Power Armor has been added to the terminal on top of Fort Defiance, offering Ultrasight Power Armor plans. So, I mean, why? Okay, the whole point of farming the Queen was to get Ultrasight Power Armor plans, Prime plans, and all this other stuff. Now you're making it easier for... Why? Just why? Why are you making it easier for people? Wait, they can't fucking farm the Queen and server hop to meet other people? The whole point of actual PvE adventure mode? Like, no. The whole point is to have a little bit of grind, have some fun, shoot the Queen, get things done, get some levels, and have some... What's the point of having the final quest? What's the point of killing the Queen, then? If you're not going to be getting one of the things that drops from it, and you just get a free set from Belly of the Beast. That's dumb. Okay, first contact. The new miscellaneous objective will now appear when reaching the Overseer's camp for the first time, promoting a player to place camp on their own. So, I don't know for that. Galley Mine, new miscellaneous objectives will now appear. Monster Mesh! The amount of XP awarded per round during the event is reduced. So, more grind. Yay. Super more grind. Okay. So, art and graphics. Lighting. Lighting will no longer flicker through Pharma. Okay, but there's still a lot of flickering just throughout the world. Hopefully you can fix that one because, I mean, it's an issue. It's still been an issue. Appeal. Fix an issue that could cause a character's legs to show through red dress while it is equipped. I mean, I've never wore the red dress, but okay. Artillery. That's mainly a cosmetic issue to everybody, by the way. So these other bug fixes. Fix an issue where it could prevent artillery from being placed in a valid location. Honestly, yeah. I've had that issue so many times. Addressed an issue preventing players from placing stored blueprints containing posts that were placed particularly underground undermeshing. Okay. Budget. Scrapping a stored blueprint that was contained wires now correctly will remove those wires from the camp budget. Okay. Good. Exploit. Addressed an exploit to allow players to duplicate stored blueprints. Yeah, we've known about that for a while because all you would have to do is you move your base. I made a video on it because of how bad it was. But that was a while ago too. Addressed an exploit that could allow players to reduce their carry weight to negative value. You mean the armor pocketed? Because I mean, most people don't do that anymore because your servers crash so much that it would reset anyway. Foundations fixed an issue that could cause cannot place item needs support message to display when editing a particularly floating foundation. Okay. Power armor station. Players can no longer view power armor they do not own when attempting to access power armor station that is occupied by another player. So you could have actually stole power armor. Okay. So just say that preventing players from stealing power armor. Why do you have to negate around the bush? That's just stupid stuff. Scrapping. Integration cores crafted for the Earth Mover events are no longer automatically scrapped when using Scrap All. Okay. I mean, I've never even used that event at all, even in this game. Junk items will need to be manually scrapped or no longer automatically scrapped for components when attempting to craft. I mean, good. Stored objects. Repeatedly attempting to place atomic shop variants of an object a player has stored but does not own no longer prevents them from placing other variants. Okay. That's just saying buy more of our stuff, buy more of our merch. Structures. Fix an issue that could prevent a camp or workshop structure from being edited when building levels merged or split several items. This fix will retroactive and will not apply to structures prior to today's patch. Terminals. Power terminals contained within the stored blueprint will now work correctly when blueprint has placed a new location. Challenges. Collect holotape games. Okay, so now we have the games that we were able to do, and now you can play like them properly and collect challenges. Formal wear challenge. So this is just adding challenges, which is just making you keep in the game. Enemies. AI. Fix an issue in which some enemies could chase the player further than intended and become frozen in place. Yeah, that's pretty much. Address several XP exploits by adding a limit to the maximum amount of XP granted by a single kill. So I don't know what you mean by that. Like, was there a way that you could, like, shoot a character, log out, log in, or something like that? I mean, the whole point of tagging was the whole thing. Fix an issue where it could prevent players from looting goo and ash piles after killing an enemy. Yeah, this was very annoying when a scorched queen actually turned into an ash pile or a goo pile and you couldn't loot it. It was so pissy. Especially when you were trying to get anything else done. General loading. Fix several loading issues that could cause characters' body parts, equipment, apparel, and others to become temporarily invisible. What about the shotgun with the Tesla rifle variant? I mean, you look so dumb. You charge that thing. Oh, you look terrible. Monorail elevator. Fixed an issue to prevent the monorail elevator to reach the edge of Cranberry Bog from taking players to the top floor. Yeah, that was mainly, again, it's an issue where a PvEer just could not go to the top and they wanted to jump off and they feel like they could feel so powerful in power armor. I mean, whatever. On laptops with more than one graphics card, Fallout 76 will now default to using the dedicated graphics card rather than the So everybody was running on Intel integrated graphics on laptops. That's kind of dumb. Okay. I don't know why Fallout 76, but that was really dumb. Performance. Launching traditional or simplified Chinese game clients on Xbox One will no longer cause 6-second hitch to launch video begins to play. So, I mean, that would be annoying. So, there's a lot of exploit fixes as well because they are waiting until, what is it, January, February, March, April. I think it's like April or May when we're actually going to get like PvP servers. I read it on a Reddit post, but I haven't seen anything confirmed yet. So, again, if I don't get a word from Bethesda, I just don't try to report it as much because Reddit can sometimes be rumor mills. Bobbleheads. Using multiple explosive bobbleheads will no longer cause efforts to stack. So you actually put a limit on top of it. Wow. You actually put a 1 value on top of it so they don't stack. That's great. I mean, you could not have that oversight for bobbleheads. What about notes? You can do the same thing with like notes and papers. Did you do that as well? So they addressed an exploit that could allow players to duplicate items in Modus vendors. And this is because of a network stability thing. Because the actual timer with Modus was probably around 20 seconds, 25 seconds. The reason why most people and YouTubers did not report about this is because of the witch hunt for YouTubers across the board, especially when most big YouTubers on this platform that actually support this game and love this game have gotten bans in the past, especially for that. The ones that are mainly showing off more predominantly than anything else were like the exploit YouTubers, and they got their accounts banned. So they mainly moved to other games because they got their accounts banned, and they're just like, whatever, we're going to make money in other places. But Modus was another method, including what was happening prior, but it did not crash the server, and it had no repercussions to stability. It was mainly server-side issues because they gave too much time to the actual person themselves. So that's what happened, and it was an easy fix. It was, again, another oversight that Bethesda had when it came to a vendor system with multiple terminals. And again, it's good for them because they want to actually have vendors, and they've had announced that there's going to be vendors at personal camps. So addressing this now is actually better for the marketplace than it is, let's say, when we actually have home terminals. Like, that's going to be a whole nother issue when we actually have that. So, magazines. Remove magazines from several locations where they unintentionally guaranteed a spawn. So people could just server hop a spawn. That's yogurt. Again, this is my breakfast for the morning, so I'm also trying to get all this done before I make my comparison video from before and after patch with my 2-shot explosive hunting rifle, my bloodied explosive hunting rifle, so I can give you accurate damage degradation numbers when I can actually bring this up, when the servers actually come up. Alright, so paperbacks fix multiple issues with transferring items. So you mean when stuff was dropped and the bag would just disappear, and then next thing you know, that Assassin Sentinel piece was gone forever? Why? Pip-Boy fixed a rare issue that could cause a character's Pip-Boy to go missing. So, the thing that happened before, almost the first patch, where you couldn't even have the Pip-Boy, it showed up again? Okay. Power armor. Entering a suit of power armor no longer occasionally causes it to become invincible to nearby players. So this was another exploit. They didn't label it as an exploit, but it was an exploit. There was an exploit where you can have all of your armor that was on you, on your person. Like let's say you had Assassin Sentinel regular armor. It doesn't matter what it was. And then you could actually do a combination that could actually get you into the power armor. So your under armor and your top armor stacked on top of each other, making you very unkillable and almost invincible. So it is completely crazy in these kind of combinations that they've been fixing in this kind of setup. And again, this is like a laundry list of bug fixes, and I'm still not even done yet. So, Butcher's Bounty. Searching for dead tick with Butcher's Bounty equipped can now correctly produce. Cap Collector now requires players to search cap stashes, much like other perks granted to the search option for containers. Exploit. Affixed addressed an exploit affecting the curator perk. That's because you were able to double all the time with curator. Fireproof. The flame attack damage reduced provided by Fireproof now correctly applies Molotov fire damage. Okay. Serendipity notification will now appear on screen, and sound effects will play whenever serendipity perks affect. I know. Look, I know. Serendipity. I have a accent. I've read the comments from the last videos. I say serendipity because that's my accent. Okay, I have to enunciate it for serendipity. Thank you. Just addressing my last videos on that one. PvP. Respawn fixed an issue where it could prevent a player who was killed in water from correctly ending PvP upon respawning. So don't die in water. Stealth. Address an issue which stealth damage bonus could still be applied to a sneaking player's attacks during PvP, even that player was within the target's direct line of sight. I mean, no, but what if you're invisible and you're in sneak and you're in someone's line of sight? Like, is it a different category now? Did you fix it? How is it going to be? What is this thing? Fix an issue that could cause a bounty amount for a wanted player to appear halved on the map when approaching that player next to the world. Well, thank you, because that's dumb. I've had multiple times that I've walked up to a 10-cap bounty and it was 5-cap bounty. Same thing with like 3,000 bounty, and then it was down to 1,500, where people go pretty crazy with getting bounties now because they want these PvP servers to happen. Like, pretty obviously. They fixed a lot of quests. Especially with things respawning. So it's pretty much most of them that are in that kind of category. That's so that you can still enjoy the casualness of the adventure mode. Survival diseases. The radworm's disease now correctly increases rad damage by 50%. Okay. Sound. Weapons. Breathe sound effects will now play correctly when activating hold breath when zoomed. Okay, so it'll sound cooler. UI. So this is the final little tidbit. This is a big patch note when it comes to this. So, and again, this is like also my points of view and what I was able to find and a bunch of other things. So the display. Fallout 76 will now auto-detect an AMD card. So if you're the AMD 7900 or 8900 series and the R9200 series graphics cards that are in Apple or in Hackintosh or in other things. It doesn't say it there, but that's pretty much what it means because nobody really uses them anymore. Field of view. Addressed an issue causing camera clipping near walls using a hide field of view setting. So kind of like what happened was in Conan Exiles, you can just poke your head through if your field of view was so high and you can clip through walls. It's fine. Hotkeys are better supports for Astray keyboards. I can't say it. AZERTY. Think that's how you enunciate it. Loading screens. Fixed an issue that could cause loading screens to appear to cut off black for different resolutions entering a building's interior. Happened to me. 1440p. All the time. And when I play this game sometimes with upscaled 4K. With like my modded like game. So yeah. Happens a lot. How about you fix your friends list? I haven't seen that. So, let's see. Let's go down to map. Map character. Levels no longer appear fraudulent on the map for players over level 100. So, they're going to be bigger now? I don't know. What if there was an over 9,000 character? Is it going to just encompass like a good amount of the map or something like that? Nameplates. Fix an issue to prevent player nameplates from appearing while inside a nuke zone during Scorched Earth events. Okay. Nameplates again. Fix an issue that could prevent a crown icon from displaying next to a legendary enemy nameplates. Yeah, that has happened to me. Social Xbox. After sending a friend request to another player, notification will now display and confirm that friend request has been sent. This will be for all platforms now. Invite the team option will no longer appear for players who have already joined the team. Kind of happened to me. If you attempt to fast travel to a friend or teammate using social menu, fail to the nearby enemies, the player will now be notified of error message saying that you cannot fast travel to enemies who are nearby. What about the one where, like, you are with your friend in the same world, and then it says that he's in a different world, and then it forces you off and join the same freaking world? How about that one? I don't see that one fixed. Trading. Decrease the wait time required between trades. When making multiple trades with another player, if players attempt to make multiple trades too quickly, new trade failed due to frequency. Wait a moment to try again. Error message will display now. Then the previous trade failed on server message. Fix an issue on PC that could cause player cursor to... The reason why they have that timer was that initially on launch, you could actually duplicate items, and you could also take items from other people's inventories if you were quick enough in the trade menu. This is why that message is in there, by the way. It's because of that main problem that happens initially at launch. VATS. Now selected targets are more considerably across different points of view, FOV values. For example, VATS will no longer target enemies that are visible in peripheral vision. So again, if you had like a high FOV, you can like auto lock on people. Worse than like aim hacks in like other video games. So it's because it's built. Let's say this: it's built-in hacks that are in there for the VATS. Especially when it comes to targeting people. Voice chat. Fixed an issue preventing a speaker icon from appearing. How about if you're in auto, it forces you to team and you can't do area chat with push to talk on PC? That's so fucking annoying. Like every single time that I join a actual team, I can't talk to the people that are in area as well. I would like to be able to still have proximity chat as well as team chat in two different categories. That's why the auto function should be everything instead of like forcing it to be team chat. I get it that some people don't want to be bothered, but that's why there's a manual option for you to change yourself so you can actually talk to people. I just don't know why they don't have this kind of stuff, or they don't understand the definition of auto. Okay, so that's my other gripe, but that's a lot of patches. It's gonna fix a lot of duplication. There's still I think there's like 3 other methods that are still left. Excuse me. There's still 3 other methods still left in Fallout 76 for duplication. And most of them can be detected because they cause client-side crashes. So, in order for them to detect it, they're going to actually need to step up their server performance game yet again, so that they can actually fix the rest of this duplication stuff that has been happening on like all of Fallout 76 and Market 76 and every trading website pretty much. There's somebody that has a duplicator that's in there. You can't prevent it. All you can do is prevent the method from actually happening. And when actually the servers do come up, I can actually give you the proper hunting rifle values with everything else as soon as I have the time to get to it. If you guys like this kind of explanation and like explaining why some of these exploits were getting fixed in this long video, please leave a like, leave a comment down below. If you really like my stuff, my Patreon is also down below. So have a good one, guys.